Greetings, all you Jackson Janets out there, and thank you for tuning into your daily dose of donkey with Ginger. It's that time of the week, time to bring you the power rankings, the power index. The Donk Nation is ready to hear where the teams fall in line. Maybe there's something fun, something new today that we haven't seen before. Let's see. As always, we're going to go ahead and start with the Donk Nation Top 10 Power Rankings, which is the cumulative Gingy rankings, Lasker rankings, and Power Index rankings. Let's start at the bottom. Kansas City's breaking its way into the top 10 with a couple votes today. Big win for them. Moving into the top 10. Patrick Mahomes not turning the ball over. All those teams in the division that had a chance to pull away are going to be like, man, we should have done it when we had a chance. Coming in at number 9 is a team I've been telling you about to watch out for weeks. New England playing great football and just absolutely annihilated the Cleveland Browns. I mean, woo, that was a showing. Mac Jones looked great. That defense looked great. Number 8, you got Baltimore. They need to figure out what's going on with that running game because they're not the same force they've been before, but still a team to be reckoned with. Lamar Jackson is a playmaker out there, but coming off a tough Thursday loss to the Miami Dolphins is something. At 7, we have another team coming off a tough loss. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tom Brady looked not very good in that game against Washington. It is football. It is any given. They definitely laid a stinker this week. Going up to 6, we have the Buffalo Bills. Putting things together, having the type of game you'd expect against the Jets, I believe is who they played. And maybe this is the turning point for them where they start, instead of just looking at all the perfect numbers across the board with turnover margin, offensive points, defensive points per game, maybe now they start playing good team football. 5, we have the LA Rams, who got kind of embarrassed on Monday night after signing Odell Beckham Jr. Everyone's riding high. Von Miller's there, and San Francisco just says, hey, we're going to beat you. 4, you have Dallas, who Dak looked good this week, and they put up some points. And if that's the Cowboys that's going to keep showing up, that is a team to be scared of because they have a lot of weapons, and they could do some things out there. 3, you have Tennessee. The question about Derrick Henry still lingers, but again, they go out, they win another football game. I believe it was a tight one against New Orleans, a 2-point win. But winning games is what you get paid to do. That's what that team needs to keep doing. Number 2, we have the Arizona Cardinals, which means for the first time the Donk Nation Power Rankings does not have the Cardinals at number 1. This is a team that just had a pretty lackluster performance loss against Carolina, albeit without Hopkins, without Kyler Murray. You know, when you're missing your quarterback, it's hard to do things, but yeah, you got to hold them accountable, which means Green Bay Packers, you've played a game without your quarterback, but you get to now come in as the Donk Nation number 1 team. And the biggest problem for the Packers right now is they got more injuries again this week. That team is playing so good, but injuries can derail any season, as we've seen before, and they're starting to pile up there, but let's see if Green Bay can keep doing what they're doing and win in 17-0 shutout of Seattle. Nothing to be sad about. Now that you know the Donk Nation Top 10, we're going to go ahead and move on over to the Power Index. I'll go through these pretty quick. Let's start from 32 to 20 and call this the section of teams that need to start doing something if they want to make the playoffs. If you're just trying to get a good draft pick, keep doing what you're doing. We got the Houston Texans coming in at 32. Detroit coming off a tie, so they're no longer fully losing season, tied the Steelers. They move up a spot to get to 31. You have the Jets at 30. They just turn the ball over a lot with whoever's playing quarterback. Jacksonville at 29. I'd like to see more out of Trevor Lawrence than I am, but we haven't seen it yet. The Dolphins coming in at 28. They honestly haven't been that bad of a team when Tua plays, so keep playing Tua. 27, Chicago. Fields is looking okay. They need to keep it going. 26 is Atlanta. 2 weeks ago, big win, and then an embarrassing loss this week. 25 is Washington, fresh off the win from Tampa. 24, you got the Giants. They were on a bye, so they didn't do anything. 23, you have San Francisco. Just beat the Rams. 22, you got Seattle. Russ came back, and he was rusty and did not look good in that game. 21, you got the Cleveland Browns. And what can you say? You put up a performance like they did against New England, you don't expect to be anywhere. Now, 20 through 11, we got some teams that I'm going to call the are you a good team or a bad team category. These teams are on that cusp, and they're probably going to go one direction or the other. You got Philly coming in at 20, big win. Carolina at 19, another team with a big win. Vegas drops all the way down to 18 after an embarrassing loss. 17, you got Minnesota. This is where a Kirk Cousins-led team is always going to fall. 16, you got the Chargers. Herbert needs to start playing better, and that defense needs to step up if they want to get back towards the top 10. Denver comes in at 15. I really don't think Teddy's the answer, but what are you going to do? Put in Drew Lock? 14, you got Cincinnati. This is such a Jackal Hyde team. They're either really good or really bad. That's why they are where they are. 13, you got the Steelers coming off a tie hurts, but really doesn't kill anything, and it's better than a loss. All the way up to 12, you got a huge jump in the Kansas City Chiefs coming off finally a really good game and a good performance all around from that team. Hey, Chiefs fans, run the ball more. It makes them respect you. 11, you have Indy, another one of those teams that they play really good, they can play really bad, but at the end of the day, they have the talent level to potentially be a top 10 breaker. And coming in 10, we have Baltimore Ravens, embarrassing loss. New Orleans Saints, tough loss, and honestly, they've been falling ever since the injuries out there. Winston, I didn't see much of Kamara this week either. I don't know if he was hurt. 8, you have the Buccaneers. When you lose to a team like Washington the way they did, you're going to fall. 7, you have New England. Big jump into the top 10, and looks like they have staying power. As I said before, when you looked at this team early in the year, all their losses were to really good teams, and they were close games. Not surprised to see them breaking in here. 6, you have the Rams. That performance against San Francisco has to knock you out of the top 5. So let's get into the top 5. You have the Tennessee Titans, who I think are the best team in the AFC, and numbers don't love them quite as much, but they're a good team. 4, you have Green Bay. Again, this offense, they have a top 5 defense right now in points, but their offense is 19th in points scored. You don't expect that from an Aaron Rodgers-led team, but that's where we are. 3, you have the Dallas Cowboys with the best offense in the league. That team is explosive. 2, you have, as I named them earlier, the statistical darlings, the Bills. Second highest scoring offense, the number 1 points defense, the best turnover margin. I mean, statistical darlings. They have to start putting it up on Sundays like they did this week, or else they're going to keep falling due to those losses. And at number 1, you still have Arizona, because even though they lost again, the numbers still love a team that has the best record, or at least best winning percentage, doesn't really turn the ball over, and is top 5 offense and defense, and has played a pretty tough schedule. So, all in all, that's why Arizona is still your number 1 in the power index. Now, we got Gingy, we got Laskers, we make them do the homework, we gotta at least tell you what they give us. Ironically, I'm gonna do Gingy and Laskers together this week because, oh my gosh, are their power rankings almost exactly the same. Let's start at 10. Both New England. Go to 9, both Kansas City. Both belong in the top 10. I like it. This is the only swap. 8 for Gingy is Baltimore. 8 for Laskers is Buffalo. 7 for Gingy is Buffalo. 8 for Laskers is Buffalo. And Baltimore 7. I don't know which way I said that right. But either way, those two teams are flip-flopped on their list, and that's the only change. And those are, two teams that who knows what we're seeing out of them. They both have Tampa Bay at 6. They belong to fall out of the top 5. They both have the Rams at 5. You could argue they belong to fall out of the top 5 too. And then you got the teams who showed up and did what they were supposed to do coming in. 4, they both got the Cowboys. 3, they both have the Cardinals. And you can't argue right now, injuries is a huge thing that should be held against them. And maybe I should figure out how to hold injuries against the team in the power index. Haven't quite figured that out, but maybe it's something I'll look into. 2, you have the Titans who, you know what, they lost Henry, but they keep winning football games. And 1, you got the Packers. You can't really argue. I mean, say what you want, even a hurt Russell Wilson, to hold him to 0 points, that defense out there deserves some credit because they are absolutely performing. There's our top 10s. There's our power index. Let us know what you think in the comments. Let us know if you want to do a community one and start putting in your rankings. Let me know if there's any other content you want to hear over the week other than just a power ranking show. And, as always, no shout-outs, but I appreciate everyone who listens. Y'all make it worth doing. I don't care if it's for 2 people, 2,000 people. It's fun to get out there and just have a little show. And also, don't forget to tune into the flagship episode, our Steelers Talk. That's coming to you on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, sometime this weekend before the game. It'll be up. You know we're going to have a good conversation when the Steelers tie the Detroit Lions at home. I mean, what is going on there? If you want to be a playoff team, that is not a playoff performance. But to be fair, every team in the AFC seems to be putting up these non-playoff performances. So we can't hold that as a standard anymore. Maybe we'll talk. Is there a new standard? Is the league actually getting the diversity it really wants to? And the question is that because of the lower cap? In which case, should we be like, we want to see a lower cap because every team can be competitive? Or do we want to see a higher cap so we can create super teams? Who knows? Thank y'all for listening. Can't wait for y'all to tune in to hear me again, to hear Gingy again, to hear Laskers again. Thank you, Donk Nation, Steelers Nation. Hey, we might have tied, but we still got to wave them. It's our job.